everybody. It's Joe with the Troll, and I'm sitting or screening with Mike, the president of New Jersey Craft Beer. How's it going today, Mike?
It's going good. How are you?
I am very well. We've been trying to get this together for a long time now. You're a
Yeah.
busy man. How's life treating you?
Yeah, busy never ends, but yeah, things are good. It's nice to finally connect and be able to get this going here.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm very glad we could sit down and chat for a little bit. I know your time is valuable, so we'll just get right into it. So how did this thing start for you?
It's pretty simple, and I've told this story countless times, but it's so like I was living up in North Jersey and got you know, married and decided she wanted to move to the area she was from in Central Jersey, so moved to Central Jersey, still was commuting to my day job and still commuting to my day job up in North Jersey daily, and was like, oh, where's my local fucking bars, where's my like regular places to go, where's my liquor stores? That brewery's not around the corner. I mean, there was only 14 or something breweries when I launched NJCB, so
Oh
um
man,
it was 2010. So I kind of built the website and for myself and built the thing like, hey, this bar doesn't exist, or this place doesn't, like, it's not around the corner, blah blah blah. So
yeah,
like, let me just build it. And because I'm a tech nerd and like a beer nerd and everything else, I'm like, oh, epiphany, there we go. So I kind of like made it all happen. And it was also, like I just said, it was before we had 100+ breweries. It was
yeah.
literally 14 breweries, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And being as a beer nerd, there was like a handful of bars and restaurants that you could get really good beers at, craft, that, and they were slim pickings. It was like, you know 20 breweries that were distributed that were craft in New Jersey. Now, hundreds um and 100+ breweries. So it's definitely cool, and it's where I
Yeah.
started.
And it's probably was fun for you to see like that grow and you grow at the same time. How did you start building a following and getting your name out there?
So I knew a lot of people because I've been drinking craft since like college. I mean, I wasn't allowed to then, obviously, but I did. And even before that, like I would steal my grandfather Sam Adams like lagers he always had in high school. And um, you know, uh I mean, and since that point, it was like, oh yeah, I would go and drink in the woods with friends, and we drink, natties and Bud Ice and all that. But then it
Yeah.
turned into like college and still drinking then Keystones and Red Dogs and all the other stuff. And then it turned into, hey, we got a job. This place sells like this beer called Le Fin du Monde. And we're like, what is this? And we're like, let's get it. It's $9 a bottle, but the bottle is this big. It's a 750. So we're like, okay, it's 9% alcohol. Like, are you kidding me? Epiphany, right? Here we go again. So that kind of got into it, and then started drinking early on into that. Well, young, I should say, like, 19, 20, 21 years old.
Yeah.
And then at 21, after college and everything, found a couple places locally that were like selling beer, and started growing through that. And then I discovered this like world of craft. And at the same time I was discovering that, I was like getting into like the eco-friendly movement, and like, the green living and clean living and all that kind of stuff, like healthy living, and started kind of putting a bunch of stuff together. And digital was getting big, right? So it's 2010. We're talking about like the post like .com boom or bust or whatever it was.
Yeah.
We're talking about the post like terrible economy of like housing crisis stuff. I mean, and then it was like people wanted to get out a little bit and do stuff. So NJCB kind of happened. It started growing really quickly because I also knew beer people, because I was a beer nerd. So I was on these social Twitter things with years ago with a bunch of people that are still friends
Oh.
of ours, friends of mine, like back in the day, and we're still friends. We would go and meet at bars and restaurants in like New York and North Jersey and whatever, and have like bottle shares. And then 2010 hit, and NJCB kind of blew up because of some of those people.
That's
Like
cool.
the launch party for NJCB I had at a bar that doesn't exist anymore, the Copper Mine. And I mean, I have my glassware over there. And it was also the first like event that Bolero was at, for example,
Oh,
out that
wow.
before they were even able to have beer. They did not have beer there in 2010, I swear. Um, it was actually 2011, but they didn't have beer there. Nope, not at all. Um, and it was kind of cool to be able to have all those people. And then they grew, we all grew together. And then, a couple years later, I get a call from Augie Carton. He's like, "Hey, come on down and brewing a beer called Boat. You might want to be part of it and take some pictures." So I'm like, "Okay." And it's like, here we go. I was the digital version of what other people before me did, like the Mark Haney's of the world and Jeff Linkus, like people who are still writing for beer and doing things in the beer space, but they were doing it on paper and like
Yeah,
a digital publication. And JCB was digital, and being, the age bracket that is starting to drink craft now, they're digital, right? So
yeah.
they're not sitting there reading
Kind of
newspaper.
was like ahead of the game.
Yeah, totally. And it became something that was like, it's fun, right? So beer is fun. It's a social lubricant. It's a good
Yeah,
time. So I was growing, the breweries grew, the bars started popping up like crazy. Liquor stores started getting a lot more. Distributors started bringing in more than their 5 brands each. So instead of having 20 breweries, like I mentioned, on the store shelves or the
yeah,
bars, now you had 100 different breweries to pick from.
yeah.
Then
How
you
do
had
you,
100 Jersey breweries, and it's crazy.
now? How do you keep all track of that now? Because your website and your membership, you left like all the events and everything like that. It's crazy. I'm like, wow. I'm like trying to go through it all. How do you keep up with it?
I don't know. No, it's difficult, but it's fun, right? So I like beer. Like I mentioned, before I was hanging with a friend, like I like beer. I like engaging in conversation. I like people. It's always a fun time for me. So the events used to be even more, right? Like COVID hit and knocked a bunch of that out, but
Yeah,
they're coming back. The brewery listing, that's pretty easy because, they're not opening a new brewery every single day. So I can handle that. I list other things, distilleries, wineries, dispensaries, etc., all the
yeah,
cideries, like all that stuff's listed there. But the events and like all that social stuff, I just have a way of keeping up with it, and I do my best. There's always room for improvement, and I know I'm my own worst critic, but like it is hard, but at the same time, I enjoy it, and I do my best to keep that thing going. Because honestly, like the members are the people that I want to give this info to, and
yeah.
the beer drinkers want to know this stuff. So I do my job to get them the info that as much as I can give them.
You do want to actually recently join. Do you want to talk about the membership, how like the perks and everything like that?
Yeah, so the NGCB membership, it's the club is actually the way that um everyone finds out about more things than just what's on the front page of the website. So the club is a yearly membership. It gives you discounts at 650 or so bars, restaurants, liquor stores, breweries, brew pubs, and big events, small events, exclusivities. We have a whole bunch of stuff that goes on there. Um, Obviously, currently, not obviously for everyone, but currently there's some laws in New Jersey that are disallowing breweries from giving a discount or having their own membership club,
Yeah,
and a bunch of other things, or can't have a TV over 60 inches. I guess somebody's compensating for something. Yes, I'm talking shit about the state of New Jersey,
yeah. I was
because I
going to get
can.
into that a little bit, but that would take up a lot of time.
Yeah, we can send you a nice little link later.
Yeah,
But the club itself is the way that people find out about beer. They find out about all this other stuff. We have a local community on a Facebook group, a private community there. There's all this social things. People make friends. It's like it's a beautiful thing. And
yeah,
club's been around since 2011. Um, I launched NJCB 2010. The club launched about 6 months later. Um, and so going into, our 12th year or whatever, it's like
yeah. It's
it's
crazy.
crazy to think of
And
that.
you're doing you just started collaborating with breweries. How did that work out for you? How did that all start up? And
Yeah. So a few years back, so I'll give you a little history on that one too. Some of the bigger events in the state are the Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival, um, the Big Brew event, some of the bigger things that have happened. So a Central Jersey Beer Fest. Um, so years ago, I would say probably like 2014, 2013, I started doing like an annual or a semi-annual collab with a bunch of breweries to release at a bigger event. And it worked out well. And then in like 20, I don't know, this would be the 6th year, 2017, maybe 2016. Icarus and I were, I was at Icarus and I was talking about some soup that I made for my wife or whatever. And Jason from Icarus is like, hey, let's make that into a beer. And I'm like, wait, make that into a beer? Hang on. So I'm gonna grab a can of that. Pause. But we're talking about like, let's make a beer with that. And it's like, oh, all of a sudden I'm doing collabs. And here's the Build Me Up Butternut collab.
Oh
And
wow.
so now this is probably the first one, but now they like during COVID, they started making cans of these things. And I'm like, oh, this is something we should do. So I started collabing with breweries more than just, the once a year or whatever, and changing it up. I did a whole bunch of AC Beer Fest collabs for years. And then when COVID hit and every brewery was sort of like stuck with cans to sell to go, and they couldn't have people on site, that
Yeah.
kind of thing, except for outside. It like, and also at the same time, I just mentioned to you before, but I went to Old Heights and I was there in Heightstown, and I'm like, hey, you guys opened the week COVID hit. Like, how can I help you? Because I
Yeah.
can't physically go in. You're not letting me. I have to wear like a entire face shield just to go pee. So how can we
Yeah.
do something like, and everyone was scared of COVID back then because no one
Yeah.
knew really, and I
Yeah.
get it,
Nobody
right?
was. Yeah.
So I'm not busting chops because my wife would spray me down with Lysol. Like I get all this, right?
Yeah.
But you know, what ended up happening is we started like making beer ideas, coming up with ideas. So I started spitting these ideas to different people. So the Build Me a Butternut thing's been going on for years. We made a one-off version with somebody else. I did something with vinyl. I did something with cross keys. I did something with what, and then I started adding more and more. So last year, my goal was to do 22 of them
Yeah.
for 2022. That did not happen. That was a really difficult goal. Um, we did about 16. So that's
Oh
also a
wow,
lot of
that's pretty
collabs.
close.
Yeah, I mean,
A
we did a
couple
lot.
going this year too, right?
Yeah, we got more going this year. And then I'm a big music nerd too. So certain things in have worked out where I've done collaborations with some bands I really love. We just
Oh
released
wow.
one with Jersey Cyclone and Shades Apart, the local Somerset County based band. They've been like playing since 1988. I released a collab with Less Than Jake, which is a pop ska
Oh
punk
yeah.
band from
Nice.
Gainesville, and Departed Souls. So I've done that with Hot Water Music from Gainesville. I mean, we've done collabs with. I did the collab with The Promise Ring, the band from Milwaukee, and Vinyl Brewing. Like then that, but then we also did like a idea that I just had off the top of my head you know, um, with like cross keys. It was like, hey, let's do something to pay homage to this. Or we did something with Battle River just recently and the
Yeah.
Brewery Strong group. And that was like a rye lager just to, make something drinkable and different in these what are usually cold months, even though it hasn't really been
Yeah.
cold. Because we're sitting here in t-shirts, obviously, like it's
Yeah, I'm like, this is the I am like so weirded out. Like I work outside. I'm like, so weird right now. It's 50 degrees in February.
yep,
It's so weird.
it's
But
very
you were
strange.
talking about Brewery Strong. You want to talk more about a little bit more about that? I know it's like a scholarship
Yes.
kind of thing.
Yeah, so Brewery Strong is a nonprofit based out of COVID, from COVID, started from
Yeah.
COVID to help the community at large. Um, so we're raising funds to the not for the nonprofit to give back to industry in any way, shape, or form we can. So for scholarships for people to learn about beer or how to brew or like how to be a server and get like Cicerone certified and things like that. So the goal is to like raise funds through events or through
Yeah.
collaborations or through any of those kind of things to like give back to the community.
Awesome.
There's a whole bunch of breweries involved, some distillery people involved, some sales people, accounting people in the industry, in the beer and alcohol industry around the state, and it's really cool to have a bunch of these people involved. So it's brewerystrong.org. You check it out. It's pretty cool to be part of that. I tend to post a bunch of articles from them on NJCB as well, because being one of the board members. Like it's fun to be able to help out whoever we can.
Yeah, definitely. What events do you have coming up?
So we have a bunch of collabs that we're going to be releasing soon. We had two last weekend. They came out. One of them is it was the baby version of it. So it's at Summers Point Brewing, and this was their clean barley wine version. They had racked a bunch of it into some barrels. So that will come out in April, I believe, and that will have another event with it. I'm working on two events in March. I haven't finalized those details yet, but I'm thinking about like some sort of brunch thing on a
Ooh,
weekend. People, they tell me they want to go out on Friday. They tell me they want to go on a Saturday, a Sunday, a Monday, every day. So I'm trying to do anything we can to get
yeah.
people, to get members to go out on days they want to. So I'm doing my best. If anyone has ideas on what they want to do in gatherings, let us know. The thing at the event we had at Jersey Cyclone was fantastic. The word on the street is that's going to maybe have a re-release of that beer in May, so that will happen.
Cool.
There's a couple things coming down the line that I think some of the guys and girls on the team on my team are going to go to. I haven't finalized all of those details just yet, but there's supposed to be some other stuff happening. As I release it, it'll be posted in real time on our Facebook group for members only, and then it will be in social after that.
Oh, perfect. I'll have to definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, there will definitely be a lot of information. All of our events, we post as much as possible
Yeah,
for
and
the
you got an email
NGC.
list too, right?
Oh yeah, so we have an email list. You'll find out tomorrow. I'm switching email servers. But there'll be there'll be a new email server coming up that will have even easier and more because it's easier to use. I can handle more.
Ooh,
So I'm going to be
that's great.
sending more content more frequently because it's more seamless into my system at general, and like more digital convergence, which I'm a big fan of integration and convergence. So yeah, a lot of that will be happening. I haven't really finalized anything specifically, but we're on every social platform. Even TikTok, YouTube, whatever. We do our lives. I'll do like streams live with for like a collab or a conversation. We're still focusing. I mentioned earlier about fighting the state of New Jersey with this special ruling that could take up like 5 hours. But
Yeah. Mhm.
if you go to NewJerseyCraftBeer.com and the first article that's pinned to the top of the post on the event listing page, you'll see like how to stay connected and fight the power.
Yeah.
There's a collaboration brewery.
Brew Strong.
Icarus released it
Yeah.
called
Yeah.
Brew
Brew
Jersey.
Jersey. There we go.
Yeah.
Get it in
Oh,
there.
I know. They're all called Brew something. So,
Mhm.
um, so that collab is right now. I think they have 40 plus
Yeah.
breweries around the area that have picked and started doing collabs, releases of this one specific style of beer and beer itself recipe, but people are modifying it their own way. And that beer is raising funds to fight the powers that exist currently. And so if anyone's out there that needs and is looking for fun stuff, go for it. Go buy some of those beers. Try to get all 40.
Yeah, I've
Like I
tried
said,
two for so far. I tried the man skirt, and I tried the I think I tried the Seven Tribesmen too.
oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have two of the 40 so far.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great idea. Even I
Yeah.
think Icarus even released a second version of their own beer. I'm like, okay, cool. Because like why not, right? Like
Yeah.
I just saw Twin Elephant released one. Like
Yeah.
everyone's like there'll be more and more coming down the line.
And like the
Um,
cool part of it, like what I find cool is like the can art because they all like they're almost brewing the same beer, but they're making it their own at the same time, which is cool, you know?
oh, without a doubt. I mean, this is the same idea that the Black is Beautiful beer from
Yeah.
COVID and the Black Lives Matter thing, and the same idea of the one before that, uh the COVID, but the other half one, everything, all day, everything, or something like that. I forget what it was. Um, and they released like hundreds of these versions, but we're doing this just specifically for New Jersey. So it's not,
Yeah.
it could get national, sure, but like actually, wait, I have a bottle of the Mead. Where'd it go? Hang on.
Oh, speaking my language there with the mead.
Oh yeah. Oh, so my friend that met up with me yesterday,
Oh,
this is Funktastic from Richmond, Virginia. Actually, it's not Richmond, it's in outside of Richmond in Midlothian, Virginia. So Matt, who is the brewer owner, meadery owner, whatever you want to call him, not
yeah.
I guess it's a brewer. This is called it's a Jersey thing. It's a mead version of it, and
Oh,
it is
that's cool.
Italian, it's an Italian raspberry cookie inspired mead. You can see the color is
Yeah, very
bright
red.
red. But it is same thing, and in support it made in Virginia, and it's supporting 25% of the proceeds are going to support the same cause.
That's
So,
awesome.
you know, they're making this in Virginia itself, and you can't. I mean, there was a distributor that was bringing this up here. It might be available in one or two places, but this is definitely, definitely a good thing for the industry. Um,
No, definitely.
yeah, and during there are some events. I know, like for example, like it's we got months until June, but the Atlantic City Beer Festival, like we always have a big
Yeah.
presence down there, and we always have a kickoff party at the day before the event. So I believe that will be Friday night. So if anyone's going to AC Beer Fest, stay
Yeah.
tuned for that kind of stuff because I'll have hotels discounts and things like that.
Like they
Um,
need more reason. You got Dropkick Murphy and 311 performing too, right?
that's for sure. Um, yeah. Um,
Two
no,
kick-ass
probably
bands.
no other reasons. I mean, Big Brew event, the Big Brew Festival is coming up on the
Yeah.
4th of March. That's a great event
Morristown, right?
in Morristown. Um, I will not be there, but I think maybe two people from my team will be there. Um,
Yeah. How big is your team?
we have about 15 people. Yeah. It's, I've been doing this for a long time. Um, People come and go, they move out of the area, things like that.
Yeah.
But we just have a good time. Like whenever we're at events together, we're having a great time. I've known these people for 10 plus years. So like, it's really kind of awesome. They're not just, people on my
Yeah.
team, they're friends,
Yeah.
like so
Exactly.
it's yeah, it's a good thing. And so when you come to events, come hang out, come say hi.
Definitely.
We're we're most of us are talkative. There's one or two that don't like to talk much, but
That's
we
me.
break them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
we
like
break them out of
person.
their
I'm
we
more
break
of a
them out of
one-on-one person than I am in like a group. When I get in a group, I'm a little bit shyer, but one-on-one, I'm good. You know?
Yeah. Oh, I hear you, man. Yeah, I think the cool part about it is, right? Like we're talking because we both like beer, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna have a conversation whether it starts with beer and ends with mead. Like, did you expect when you talked to me today to talk about mead? Like,
No, not
no.
at all.
Like, I mean, I can turn my camera and show you my gin. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's it's a or my ridiculous Wu-Tang glass. Like, I mean, like,
Exactly.
you know, it's like this the fun part about beer. Like you learn more about other things too.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about New Jersey craft beer. Like the friendships, the community, the people I've met. So um yeah, it's great to be able to do this as well and
Yeah,
talk to
definitely. Like
people like you, Joe.
I kind of like I dove into this as just kind of spawned from my idea. I was texting back and forth with my wife, and this idea popped in my head. It was something stupid at first, and um, and then it spawned into the idea. Right now, we got like 10 minutes left. My Zoom is yelling at me. What advice would you give to somebody who's starting out like myself in their beer venture?
Have fun, right? Just have fun with it and find your voice. Like don't be afraid to you know uh learn from something you might learn from what you did in the previous chat or the previous whatever. Like when I first started with NJCB, I had all these partners that are like and bars and restaurants that were like, nope, nope. I had one guy specifically was like, it's not okay to sell a membership and give a discount on anything in New Jersey. I was like, bro, you're wrong. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, it says in the ABC handbook, like 100% okay as long as X, Y, and Z. No, no, no. So I like pushed him went past it, went to the government. The government said it was fine at that point. Breweries were fine as well until they made a new rule and that said they weren't allowed to do a discount on alcohol, but a whole nother story.
Yeah.
And just like have fun with it and learn. Like you're not if you just keep at it and have a good time. Like in my daily experience with a lot of things, if I'm bored and I'm not having fun, I'm not gonna do it. Right. Like
Yeah.
I just find like it exciting to have fun with things. And at the end of the day, if it stops being fun, I don't want it to be a thing. So that's why I have pivoted. I pivoted to like during COVID, I'd be sitting in the basement for 5 hours drinking through a Zoom screen with a bunch of friends, like because we couldn't leave, right? And then after that, I was like you mentioned, the collabs, the all
Yeah.
that other good stuff, right? Have fun and just pivot and switch and do what you can to just stay in the know. Introduce yourself to people when you're out, whether it's one-on-one or one-on whatever. Just like you mentioned, Manskirt. If you're over at Manskirt or Seven Tribesmen, tell Laszlo I said hi, and like ask him to bring back that collab we did at Seven Tribesmen. Tell Joe at Manskirt, like to make more of his pistachio hard seltzer because that
Oh,
was
so good.
amazing. It was
So
so
good.
good.
It had no reason to be so good. I'm like, pistachio. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna like this. It's pistachio. Then I'm like, oh, this is really
This
good.
is really good. Uh-huh. And I'm not like I like non-hard seltzer. I don't really like hard seltzer at all.
Yeah,
But
but that
that was
one,
amazing.
yeah, yeah.
It's
My
like,
wife is a big fan of that one. Like during the COVID times, the pandemic, we made special trips to Manskirt just to get cans of that.
yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I think is important to like keep that stuff up here and embrace it and like run with it, and find your voice with whatever it is you're doing. Like your voice is not this voice either, like in here,
yeah,
hard voice or whatever. I don't know your soul. Find your soul or whatever.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not that smart, so I don't always.
No, no, that
Um,
makes a bunch of sense to me. Well, thank you for your time, and definitely I would like to link up, see you in person, and
yeah,
probably hopefully come to a future event and stuff like that.
yeah,
So
for sure.
I want to plug your website and everything one more time before we leave.
Yeah, check it out. NewJerseyCraftBeer.com, NJCB on all the social, or sorry, at NJ Craft Beer on all the social. NJCB.co is the fastest way. You can also go to NewJerseyCraftBeer.com or Google it. It's the first like 100 pages on Google. So yeah, I've been doing it a long time. So just, have fun. See you all out there and come say hi at events.
Cheers.
Yeah, I have tea. Sorry, guys.
Oh, it's all good. Have a good one.
All right, everyone. Take care.
Talk to you on the other side.
All right.